Okay, it's about 1:02 now and want to be respectful of everyone's time. So let's get things started. I appreciate you all making time. I am George Altman. I'm president of VETS Indexes, and I'll be leading today's webinar, which will give you a good overview of the VETS Indexes Employer Awards 2024 program. I will mention now that our today's webinar is being recorded, and today's webinar will be posted on our website along with the slide deck. So if you would like to share this with your colleagues, we should have that up on our website hopefully by tomorrow. So with that, let's get things started. Here's a quick look at what we're going to cover today. We'll start with some introductions, give a big picture overview of the Employer Awards program. I'll show you our 2023 awardees. We'll talk through some of the benefits of participating, including some of VETS Index's ancillary programs that are related to the Employer Awards, the Veteran Employment Benchmarking Service, and the Employing U.S. VETS Conference. Then we'll dig into a little more detail about the Employer Awards program, talk through the various sections of the survey, what's new in this year's survey compared with previous year's surveys, and also we'll give you some shortcuts, tips, and advice for filling out the survey. Important, and then we'll wrap up the session answering any questions you all have. So that is gives me a chance to mention now, you all should have access right now to a Q&A section and hopefully a chat as well that will allow you to enter any questions you have. Please, as you're thinking of questions, enter them into chat. And I will, at the very end, go through everyone's questions and take as much time as needed to answer any questions you have. So with that, here is a quick disclaimer for the Employer Awards program. I will mention I know this text is a bit small, and seeing a disclaimer over a webinar isn't the easiest way to read it. I'm mindful of that. This same disclaimer you'll also find in our survey itself, in the Employer Awards survey itself, near the end. In addition, you'll be able to download this as part of the slide deck that we're going to put up associated with today's webinar, so you can kind of take your time and review it in detail. With that, let's get some introductions. So again, I'm George Altman. I am president of VETS Indexes. I myself have been with VETS Indexes since about 2020. VETS Indexes was founded a few years prior to that in 2017, and we have very, very quickly become a leading voice on veteran employment issues. We have offices in both New York City and Washington, D.C., which is where I'm talking to you from right now. We have four primary initiatives at VETS Indexes, the first of which is what we're here today to talk about, the VETS Indexes Employer Awards. This is our annual survey and recognition. Whoops, sorry about that. Let me go back. This is our annual survey and recognition program where we, look in detail at organizations, veteran-related practices, policies, and outcomes, and give awards to the best finishers. So we'll talk about that in a lot more detail as this presentation continues. But let me continue to kind of give you an overview of our other initiatives. We have a Veteran Employment Benchmarking Service. This is our newest initiative, VETS Indexes, and it's something I'm very, very excited about. We are taking the voluminous data that we collect in the Employer Award Survey and actually bringing it back to survey participants so they can use it to benchmark themselves against what other organizations are doing, both at a summary level and in very granular detail, question by question, sub-question by sub-question. There's a lot of really actionable intelligence in here. And I'll discuss this in a bit more detail a little later in today's presentation. Third is our Employing U.S. VETS Conference. This is a twice-yearly conference that we hold where we discuss best practices relating to employing veterans in the military-connected community. Our next version of this event is going to be April 11th. We already have a tremendous agenda lined up for that. which I'll detail for you in a little more detail in a moment. And then finally, our fourth initiative, we established and maintain indexes of the publicly traded companies with the best veteran employment programs. So if you're wondering, why are they called VETS indexes? What does indexes mean? This is why. So I'll take this next slide to go into a little more detail about our indexes, and then we'll just kind of let this go because I think they are mostly tangential to what we're here today to talk about with the Employer Awards program. But this was actually, kind of the founding, one of the main founding ideas behind VETS indexes. And it's all based in this investment thesis that you see here. Our theory going in was that veterans represent very valuable, yet too often underappreciated human resources, and that the publicly traded companies that best leverage these human resources will ultimately see that benefit show up in their bottom lines. So as a result, we developed tracking indexes of the organizations that are the best veteran employers, which, and this is the connection to the Employer Award Survey we're here today to talk about, we use the Employer Award Survey to determine who should be included in this list. And without getting too deep into the details here, suffice to say, this line graph, I think, does a good job telling the story. The line in dark blue is our flagship index, VETS-X, and the line in light blue is the S&P 500, very common standard benchmark for performance of publicly traded companies. And you can see how clearly our flagship index is outpacing the S&P 500, really kind of confirming our investment thesis. So this is the one item that I have to mention where it's limited and only applicable to organizations of a certain type, publicly traded companies. Important to emphasize, everything else we do is open to organizations of all types, not just those that are publicly traded, not even just companies, big organizations, small organizations, almost everything we do is for everyone. This obviously, needs to be limited to publicly traded companies. And I'll lastly add here, we are in the midst of a renewed effort to find more partner organizations to create financial products based on our indexes. So if you are aware of any, or if you yourself represent a financial institution that may be interested in working with us on this, reach out, let us know. survey@vetsindexes.com. We'll send an email straight to my inbox. With that context given, let's now talk about the main thing that we're here to talk about, the VETS Indexes Employer Awards program. So at its most basic level, kind of the main objective here for us, our main purpose in doing this, is we want to evaluate organizations' efforts related to veteran employment and give awards to the organizations who establish themselves as the best. As I mentioned on the previous slide, but want to emphasize again here, this program is open to organizations of all types and sizes. So yes, publicly traded companies, but also privately held companies, government agencies, departments. We have a lot of law enforcement agencies that always participate, nonprofit organizations, colleges, universities. Bottom line, regardless of the type of organization you represent, regardless of the size of organization you represent, if your organization is focused on veteran employment, then the VETS Indexes Employer Awards program is designed for you, was created with your type of organization in mind. So a few kind of main, very important things for you to understand about the Employer Awards program. First is it is very objective, focused on objective facts and also on numeric data. And this is something that sets us apart from some of the other organizations focused on evaluating employers for their veteran friendliness or veteran readiness. some of these other organizations kind of basically ask you to write an essay about how much you love veterans, and then they read the essays, and the ones they like the best, they give awards to. That's fine. From our perspective, that really doesn't make it possible to create meaningful apples to apples comparisons among organizations. Um, we think it's essential to make these sorts of meaningful comparisons in order to come up with meaningful results for the transitioning veterans who rely on our employer awards for guidance. So as a result, we are very focused on data, and our survey questions really try to dig into the details of what your organization is trying to do to recruit, retain, support, develop veterans, and also the outcome numbers that describe, okay, is this actually working? Is it having the intended effect? The VETS Index Employer Awards, I am very happy to say, have experienced extremely rapid growth in the last few years. The number of organizations participating in last year's program, the 2023 Employer Awards, uh, doubled, better than doubled the number of participants in 2022. For the current Employer Awards program, the 2024 program, we are on pace for similar growth as we saw between 23 and 22. Perhaps another doubling, perhaps a little better than that, perhaps a little short of that. Regardless, we're going to have many, many more participants in the 2024 awards than we did in 2023. We're really seeing critical mass of organizations participating, and very glad to hopefully have your organization be counted among that group as well. Um, Finally, and this is a particularly important point to make because it's another area where we significantly contrast from some of the other veteran employer evaluations you may have come across. Our employer awards program and the awards that we give out can only ever be earned based on what employers do for veterans. They can't ever be bought. Some veteran employer evaluations out there, you have to pay to have your application considered. Maybe some others you don't have to pay to have it considered, but you have to pay to actually, announce your award level. And something that has increasingly been common is organizations sometimes are forced to pay to use the award logos associated with their award level. For us, we think it's just a simple matter of integrity that an awards program can't simultaneously claim to be an objective evaluation of what companies are doing on the one hand, and then on the other hand say, yeah, but if you give us money, we'll give you a little something extra. Um, it's very important to us that we are running our program with the most integrity possible, and we don't view that as a high integrity approach. Bottom line, there is absolutely no part of the employer awards program that is monetized. There's absolutely no part that you have to pay for from start to finish. And we think that that is essential to maintaining this as a high integrity program. So let's now talk about where we are today, because today is an interesting day. We're in unique timing on the calendar, being that the deadline to participate in the Employer Awards program is this Friday. Today is Monday, February 12th. Our deadline is Friday, February 16th. Now that I just said that, let me emphasize strongly, yes, we do have flexibility to push that deadline back if you need a few more days to get your survey in. Just let us know. Shoot me an email, survey@vetsindexes.com. Let me know what you need a deadline extension up to, and we will work with you as best we possibly can to help you get your survey in time for it to be considered. I also want to strongly emphasize this is a brief survey. It is absolutely possible to get it submitted this week, even if you're not done with it, even if you haven't even started it yet. You can get it done start to finish by February 16th. And again, if you need a little extra time on top of that, we have it. Just let us know. So I previously talked about our growth in survey respondents and survey participation. And here you're going to see some concrete numbers that start to describe that growth. Right now, as I speak to you today, there are more than 1,000 different employers who have started survey responses, and it grows every day. At this point, it grows basically every hour. And again, we are expecting a very big increase in the number of participants in 2024. So if you haven't been participating previously, this is a great time to kind of join the crowd and jump on in. Um, Finally, with it being so close to the deadline, I understand that everything is a bit more immediate, and we need to. If you have questions, you need answers for them sooner. If you need help or documentation, you need that sooner as well. Right here, you see my email address, survey@vetsindexes.com. This is my cell phone. It goes to this phone right here. I don't give out my cell phone number unless I'm perfectly happy with people actually like picking up the phone and using it. So please don't be shy about reaching out with any questions about the survey, any help you need. This is how to get me. So, I've given you a good overview of how the program works. I think a very common question for organizations is, okay, well, who's actually participating? And so I'm going to give you a view of that. We recognized in 2023 200 different organizations with awards across 4 different award levels, from 5-star employer to 4-star, 3-star employer, and finally recognized employer. Important for me to emphasize here that not every organization that submits a survey is going to receive an award, regardless of what their survey says. It's important to us that the VETS Indexes Employer Awards truly mean something, truly are reserved for the organizations that are kind of going above and beyond in their veteran employment programs. And for that to be true, we can't just give a participation trophy to everyone who turns in a survey. That being said, we are very, very careful to not make any public mention of organizations that submit a survey but ultimately aren't recognized with awards. We understand that it's a self-selecting group who decides to participate in the survey, and just by being engaged enough on veteran employment issues, this is on your radar. That puts you ahead of a lot of other organizations in this space. So we are not trying to make this punitive. We're trying to kind of make this a help, make this a hand up. So for that reason, if your organization were to participate and not be recognized with an award, the only people who would know that are me, myself, and my small team at VETS, and you and anyone at your organization who helped fill out the survey. That is it. For everyone else, it's exactly the same as if you hadn't participated whatsoever. They just have no idea because we make no public mention of your organization on our website. So we try to create it so there's kind of no reputational risk for organizations. That being said, let's take a look at our 2023 awardees. So this page right here is from our website. I definitely encourage you to go to our website and view our full list of awardees yourself. You can see it at this URL. Also, just from our header, hover over our awardees and click 2023 award results, and you'll be on the same page I am right now. I am going to show you our 5-star employers for 2023. I'm not going to show you all of our employers because it's a good problem to have. We had a ton of organizations participate, and don't want to waste everyone's time showing you all of our participants. The 5-star awardees are our highest awarded organizations. And you'll see as I scroll down this list, you're seeing some organizations that are household names that I'm sure you all are familiar with, and also some organizations you've never heard of before, much smaller companies. You're seeing some state agencies, local county sheriff's office. I mentioned earlier that the VETS Indexes Employer Awards were designed for organizations of all types and sizes so we could compare them on a level playing field. And I think the wide variety of types of organizations you're seeing at our highest award level really demonstrates, this survey really does make it level playing field for organizations of all types. So it doesn't matter if you are the biggest government contractor in the country or the smallest county sheriff's office, if you are doing a good job with veteran employment, it will show up in your survey results. All right, so as any organization is kind of weighing whether they want to participate in a program like this, they need to consider the costs, the drawbacks, and also the benefits. So the next couple slides, we're going to walk you through some of those, starting with the costs and drawbacks you have to keep in mind. First of these being something that we talked about previously, but is important to emphasize: cost. Again, the entire employer awards program from start to finish, every single aspect of it is entirely free of charge. No cost to participate, no cost to request a survey, no cost to submit one, to have your survey evaluated, to receive an award, and most importantly, there is no cost to use, and I'll skip ahead a bit, this award logo. You see our 4 different award logos here. Absolutely no cost to use it on your recruiting materials, your advertising, marketing, internal, external. That's something that unfortunately some other organizations in the veteran employment space have started charging licensing fees for those. Again, we think it's very important that our awards are something that are only ever earned based on what organizations do for veterans. They can't ever be bought. So what does it cost to participate? Easy answer, nothing from start to finish. That being said, there's other costs than just, financial. Do you have to fork over money to participate? You got to think about man hours as well. How long is this going to take me to do? How much of a distraction will this be from our other responsibilities that we have to keep track of? So important for me to emphasize, this is significantly shorter and more dynamic than other surveys in the veteran employment space you may have come across. I've seen some that go on for 100, 200, 300 questions, just absurdly long. That's not the way we do things. We get into detail, but we try to do it very efficiently. So it's about 65 questions and can be completed start to finish in just a few hours. We really are digging into the details here to draw those meaningful, objective, apples to apples comparisons. And as part of that, we're going to be asking for data that your organization may consider proprietary, may consider private, and may not want released publicly, may not want your competitors to see. That's something we completely understand and anticipate. And for that reason, we have very strict confidentiality measures in place. For all of the data that we ask for in the survey, there's only 3 pieces of information that we will publish about your organization. And that is, if you're recognized with an award, first, the name of your organization, second, the logo for your organization, third, the award level your organization achieved. That is it. There is no other information that we will publish. And we also, each year, this year included, sign multiple non-disclosure agreements for any organization that would like to have what I said kind of cemented in the form of a written contract. If that would clear the way to your organization participating this year, let's do it. Send over an NDA. Again, survey@vetsindexes.com is my email address. Send over an NDA and we will get the ball rolling. This should not be confidentiality concerns absolutely should not be an obstacle to you participating, because we are very careful to keep data confidential. And then finally, the item that I mentioned previously, that confidentiality, also extends not just to confidentiality of individual survey responses, but should your organization participate in the survey and ultimately not be recognized with an award, we will hold the fact that your organization participated completely confidential. So from an outsider's perspective, you can't tell the difference between an organization that didn't get an award because they participated in the survey and didn't receive an award versus one that didn't participate in the survey whatsoever. So from that standpoint, there is absolutely no reputational risk, which we think is important for this program. So we talked through some of the costs of participating. Let's talk through some of the benefits. And I think that there are tremendous benefits to participating in this program along the lines of recruiting and also recognition. So we've talked a little bit about these logos associated with our four different award levels. Again, these logos are completely free of charge. You earn them, you don't buy them. You earn them based on what you do in the survey, what you tell us in the survey, and how that compares. Once you've earned them, they are yours to use on any materials that you like, completely free of charge. And just these seal logos by themselves will be a tremendous boon to your recruiting because veterans really understand it as a kind of seal of approval, a mark of an indication that really knows what it's doing in the veteran employment space and is worth a second look as they're deciding where do I want to, start my post-military career. Um, as we're sending you these logos, we're also going to send you a customized news release. Again, should you be recognized with an award that is customized with your organization's name, award level, and even a few custom quotes mentioning your organization name in news releases. These news releases are formatted so that they are, when we send them to you, completely ready to go, completely ready for you to send them as is to your media contacts. Um, and also, if you wanted to, take the news release and kind of put it in your own header file, in your own news release template, maybe add a few quotes from your leadership, kind of polish it up for the specific needs of your organization, you absolutely can do that as well. So both that news release and these logos are very, very useful tools we give you for your tool belt to kind of spread the word on marketing your award status yourself. In addition to that, we've been very gratified to see a lot of media pickup, a lot of coverage of our employer awards program and VETS indexes as a whole across a lot of high profile media outlets. You see Fox Business here, CNBC, also military specific outlets as well, like military.com, Stars and Stripes. It's very, very important, obviously, to do right by this nation's veterans, and very good that your organization is focused on this. What participating in the Employer Awards program can do is really first validate your efforts and that they really have been meaningful and successful via our third party independent evaluation, and then we empower you to kind of spread the word on all of that. So great that you're doing all of this stuff for veterans. Even better to let your customers know, your vendors, your business partners, and the employer awards can be an important mechanism to do. So at this point, I want to put a bookmark in kind of getting into more detail on the Employer Awards program and talk about how participating in the Employer Awards program will actually open up the door for you to do more with us in some of our other related initiatives. The first of which we're showing on this slide, our Veteran Employment Benchmarking Service. So you'll remember early in the presentation, I talked about how objective and data focused our evaluation is, really digging into the numbers in your organization's veteran employment efforts. So that's on the one hand. And on the other hand, you heard me say, we publish nothing from your survey except your organization name, award level, logo. That's it. So in between those two, there's just a ton of valuable information that we collect in the survey but don't publish that we wanted to, kind of make the most of. And that's why we developed the Veteran Employment Benchmarking Service. At base, what we do is we take the data that we get in the VETS Indexes Employer Award Survey and we do some calculations and kind of spit it back out at you, spit it back out at the participating organization so they can see, okay, what are we doing as an organization and how does that compare with what other organizations are doing? So you can see here, I've got an example. You compare your organization, which is indicated by the red circle, against our overall comparative average. That's every organization participating in the Employer Awards program. Peer group comparative average, which is organizations with similar size and structure as your own. And finally, our five-star comparative average, showing the performance of the most highly rated organizations, five-star employers. And important also to add, we can do this tracking not just from the most recent year's data, but also longitudinally. So you can see the long-term trend line. Are we heading up and improving, or are we heading down and there's cause for concern? So there's a lot more detail here. I honestly talked about the benchmarking program for the next 45 minutes. We're quite short on time, so I won't do that. But tremendously valuable information, really actionable intelligence that can help you kind of, as everyone has limited budgets these days and has to make hard choices on what are we prioritizing, what do we have to put on the back burner. This program allows you to make those decisions armed with the intelligence of what other organizations in exactly the same position have decided to do for their organizations. So, and actually, let me just go back and mention, because this program is based in the survey, really the only way to benchmark your organization's data against everyone else is to participate in the survey. So that's another good reason to participate in this year's Employer Award Survey, because it opens up this benchmarking platform to you. Another good reason to participate in this year's Employer Award Survey is it opens the door to our Employing US VETS conference. Every organization that submits a survey response for the 2024 Employer Award Survey will receive a single complimentary ticket to join us for our April 11th Employing US VETS conference in New York City. That is up to an $895 value for that in-person ticket that we completely waive for an organization that submits a survey. So tremendous value there, and it's an amazing conference. We bring together the best thought leaders in the veteran employment space from organizations of all types to discuss best practices, lessons learned, what works, what doesn't, common pitfalls to avoid. Similar to the Employer Awards program, we've been so gratified to see amazing growth with our conference. Our last conference that we held in October 2023, we had more than 2,500 people register, and those people came from more than 1,500 different organizations. Just an incredible number. Really happy to see all of that interest. Our next conference, I mentioned, it's going to be in New York City. We also will have a virtual component. We do not charge anything for virtual tickets. If you can't make it to New York City in person, would love to have you join us virtually. You can register here, employingus.com/register. Additionally, if your organization is interested in potentially sponsoring the conference, we do still have just a few limited sponsorship opportunities available. They're going pretty quickly, and for a spring conference, they always go pretty quickly. So if you're interested in this, please reach out to my colleagues by emailing info@vetsindexes.com, and they can have more information to send you about sponsorship. We already have done a lot of good work putting together the agenda for our next conference. You can see our keynote speaker for the April conference will be Michael Miller, who heads the Defense Department's Military Civilian Transition Office, overseeing basically all Pentagon programs related to transitioning service members. So a fantastic person to be addressing this crowd, a lot of great knowledge and insight he's bringing to the table. So very much looking forward to that. And here are some of the agenda topics that we are planning to cover in this conference as well. So a lot of useful information. Okay. So at this point, I think we've covered in pretty good detail the basics for the Employer Awards program and some of the benefits that your organization will get from participating. Let's say at this point you're sold, you are ready to get your survey started, and you just want to figure out, okay, what do I have to do now? So the most important thing, the essential key to filling out the survey is you need a unique link. That is a special link that will take you to your own individual copy of the survey online for you to fill out. If you are in today's webinar, you probably heard about the webinar from a mailer sent by me or one of my colleagues from the at vetsindexes.com domain. That same mailer should have your unique link in it. If it doesn't, please let me know. Reach out to me right away, especially with a survey deadline just a few days away. Survey at vetsindexes.com. If you don't have a unique link and you need one, just let me know that. Shoot me an email to that effect at survey@vetsindexes.com, and I will get it out to you as fast as I possibly can. So, my first bit of advice is find your unique link, click on it, make sure it works as soon as possible today. And if you're having any problems with it, shoot me an email. Secondly, this link takes you to our blank survey PDF. This will show every question in the survey and every possible answer option in the survey. So this will give you a very good idea of what information you'll need to collect to participate. Uh, Finally, our frequently asked questions. This goes into all sorts of detail, tells you basically everything that you need to know about the program.
Battery is under 10% full.
Sorry about that. Please review that. That should answer everything that you need to know. And finally, we've mentioned a few times, but the response deadline again is this Friday. Again, we do have flexibility to push that back. Let me know if you need a little more time. All right, so looking at the employee award survey in detail to help you prepare your survey response, we have kind of five main sections that we're focused on in the survey. You see them listed here. There's a couple introductory sections before these, and there's one conclusion section after. This right here is really the heart of the survey, and this also kind of describes the main areas of focus that we have in the survey. I encourage you to follow this link to view our methodology, which goes into even more detail about the weighting of the survey and how we conduct the process. If you participated in years past, or at least are familiar with our previous year's surveys and are wondering, okay, what's different about this year? The short answer is not much, hardly anything. It's very, very similar to last year's survey. All of the years, of course, advanced by one, as you would probably expect. We also, for a few questions where there were a few respondents that were a little confused about what we were asking, we added some explanations and additional links to give kind of a better picture of what it is we're looking to get answers to. But other than those small changes around the margin, it is basically identical to last year's survey. All right. Now, just a couple last slides I'll show you, and then we will jump into the question and answer section. So this is another good occasion for me to call for questions. If there's anything you're wondering about, question nagging at the back of your mind as I'm talking, please type it into our Q&A or the chat, and I will get that answered for you in just a few moments. But first, let's take on these last couple slides, starting with first tips and shortcuts for filling out the survey and doing it in the quickest, easiest, most efficient way possible with the deadline just a few days away. So my first piece of advice, you remember from that previous screen, the link to the blank survey PDF. It'll probably make things a bit easier to fill out the survey if you download that PDF, take a look at it, share it with your colleagues, and use that document to kind of gather your answers as you are preparing to fill out the online survey. If you have them, those answers kind of pre-staged, it'll make it a lot easier to just go through the online survey and enter. That being said, I want to make clear that our survey tool, we have built it to be flexible and easy to use. So your answer options are going to save automatically. You do not have to get the survey done start to finish in one sitting. What happens is each time you advance from one survey page to the next or to the previous survey page, the system automatically saves all of the answers on that page and all of the other answers uh, in other pages of the survey. So in effect, what this means is you can enter a few answers, go to the next page, enter a few more answers, go to the next page, and if you have to stop, you have a meeting, something else calls you away, just close your browser window, and when you open it back up by again clicking the same unique link you used to access your survey, all your previous answers will appear. It is totally fine to share your unique link inside your organization. It's very important that you don't share your unique link outside your organization. You do want to share it with your colleagues who are going to be helping you fill out the survey for your organization. If, say, you're responsible for one section and someone else is responsible for another, absolutely share that unique link. You don't want to share it with outside organizations because that could threaten the confidentiality and the accuracy of the data you're submitting if two different organizations are trying to work in the same survey form. Also important to mention related to unique links that each email address has its own different unique link. Even two different email addresses within the same domain belonging to the same company, if the unique link was sent to two different email addresses, they will be two completely different links, and the answers entered in one won't carry over to the other. So I strongly recommend you pick one link to use to fill out the survey and stick with it all the time. We have built the survey so that it's kind of a guided process filling it out. We have real-time validation of answers, and we design it so that, if you enter an answer that doesn't make sense from the survey's perspective, if you say our organization has 1,000 total employees, and of our 1,000 total employees, 1,300 are veterans, well, that doesn't make sense because the part can't be larger than the whole. We have alerts that come up for answers like that. We also have set up a system so that if your organization previously participated in the employer awards program, we can carry over your responses to last year's survey in that online form. So you don't have to enter the same data twice. Let us know if you would like a copy of the survey that carries over your previous responses. Again, obviously only available to organizations that participated previously. All right, and this is the final page before I jump into questions. So some basic tips on improving or maximizing a reward level. Obviously, everyone wants to show their organizations in the best light possible. So here's how to do that. First, most importantly, give us all the data you possibly can. Provide as much information as you can in response to questions. The more you tell us about what your organization is doing, the more credit we can give you for what your organization is doing. That being said, I all but guarantee you, as you're working on the survey, you are going to run into questions where we're asking for data that your organization either doesn't track and or doesn't report, can't publicly release. As that happens, first I want to say, don't worry. Do not stress over it too much. Our objective in putting together this survey was to kind of advance the state of the art in the veteran employment data space. And necessarily, if you're trying to do that, that means for the first few years, you're asking questions where a lot of organizations aren't initially tracking the data. So it's very common for an organization responding for the first time to not have all the data that we ask for. I wouldn't worry about that. I don't think there's any organization that can answer every part of every question that we ask in the survey. That being said, even as you're coming across questions where you don't have the data available to answer them right now, what I would do is, again, don't worry about it too much, but do reach out to your HR information systems folks after you submit the survey and work with them to see of the information you weren't able to provide in this year's survey response, what can you set up mechanisms to start recording and hopefully reporting on next year's survey, so that those gears can get in motion in time for our 2025 survey. Um, Important also to carefully read the instructions in the survey, carefully follow the structure, and make sure you're answering all parts of a question, not just some. Where you give us only partial information, or where the structure or format of your answers kind of differs from what the survey asks for. In a lot of cases, we're just not going to have the data available that we need to draw comparisons between your organization and others. So, be careful to follow carefully the instructions and give us as much data to as many parts of the question as you can. Now, when you reach the last page of the survey, it will be a page that says at the very top, you have reached the last page of the survey. If you want to submit the survey, hit the right arrow button and your survey will be submitted. If you need to go back and edit responses, hit the left arrow button. So that screen will show you a readback of all of the answers that you provided in the survey. Please read that very carefully. Make sure that all of your answers are accurate and make sure that it's answered as thoroughly as possible. If after reading through all of that, you realize, oh, shoot, we need to change a few of these answers. Important to note, you can't change them on that screen. You need to hit the left arrow, the back pointing arrow, and navigate back through your survey to where that question is located. But if after reading all of these, reading all of your responses, everything looks good, you're ready to submit, just hit that right arrow button that you've been using to navigate throughout the survey, up until this point, and then that final right arrow button will be how you submit the survey officially. Finally, last but certainly not least, something I mentioned before, but we'll mention again, if you have questions, please ask. Challenge for us at VETS Indexes putting together this program is, we're trying to design a single survey that makes sense and works for everyone from the world's largest multinational corporations to, local county sheriff's office. Within that wide gulf of organizations, different organizations are going to have different understandings of the same term. So it's likely that you'll run into questions where we're asking, does your organization do X? And maybe you guys do Y. And you think it's pretty close, but you're not sure if you should count it. Reach out to me and ask. Survey@vetsindexes.com, and I will get you answers. And with that, that's everything I had to cover in today's presentation. I see we do have one question that came in. If anybody else has any other questions, please type them into chat right now. Again, if you're not comfortable asking questions in the semi-public forum that today's webinar represents, you can just email us, survey@vetsindexes.com, and I will get back to you individually. And here are the details for our April 11th conference. So with that, the only question I see at this point is, do you mind sharing your email again? I missed it. This is it right here, survey@vetsindexes.com. That goes straight to my inbox. My personal email is galtman at vetsindexes.com. Honestly, if I were you guys, I just use the survey one because it's easier to spell. It's more straightforward. Either way, it's going to be the same result. It'll land in my inbox, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And again, my phone number, I'll give one more time, 202-570-3867. Do not be shy about using it. I'm always happy to help. And with that, I'm not seeing any more questions. So looks like I can return about 10 minutes of your time back to you. Really, really appreciate you all taking time to join us for today's webinar. Again, happy to answer any questions you have. Big picture, very focused on a particular question. Whatever it is, I can answer a question and I'm happy to. So really hope that you all are able to participate in this year's Employer Award Survey. And thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Hope you have a great rest of your day and take care.